Vintage Church, I'm glad to be with you today. A good friend of mine, Brian Pell, is here. I want to introduce you to him. Brian has come from Denver. He's been all over the United States. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But we want to plant churches. And one of the things that we've been working on is a pipeline to have church planters ready to go. And so Brian's coming in to do some associate pastor stuff for Vintage Church downtown, especially during COVID. And then we'll line him up to help us church plant. And so, Brian, we're really glad that you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I appreciate it. I got to start with a little bit of my background. Like many people here, I grew up in church. However, really quickly, I became disenchanted with everything related to that, the whole process, ministry, even Jesus. However, in God's providence, He pursued me and changed me, transformed me, and turned my life in the direction of ministry altogether. So my wife and I have been moving all around the country, as Tyler mentioned, most recently in Denver, Colorado, toward that end to see the gospel go forth in cities around the country. And so we're really excited to be here now. We're just in the process of getting settled in, and I'll double back and say my wife is amazing, and she works in medicine, and then we've got two Australian shepherds that you're all going to want to meet, far more than you'd ever want to meet myself. Their names are Ryder and Rosie, and they're just a delight. So that's just a little bit about us.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, Brian. Tell us something about yourself that we might not know if we just didn't ask that question specifically.
Okay, so I hinted at one of them. I'll go with two things just a moment ago. The first is that I've lived all over the country, as we're just now getting settled in North Carolina, but that'll be number 7 on my list of states that I've spent at least a couple of years in, and we're excited about it. We're excited to see what the culture in the Triangle's like. That's the first. And the second is I played football for 15 years, which feels like a long time, but it's the truth.
All right, so you brought sports up. This is a really important question. Your paycheck and other things depend on how you answer this question. There's 3 teams in the Triangle, just 3. Sorry, but that's the truth. There's Duke, which we'll never mention again. There's UNC, and there's North Carolina State.
Yeah.
You have to pick one.
Yeah.
Which team are you going to pull for?
My heart yearns for the Florida Gators, so I've got to start there. I'm sorry. However, behind the scenes, Jordan's been working really hard for State, and Tyler's been working hard for UNC, and so you guys are just going to have to talk me into one of them.
That won't be hard. I can take some of Jordan's salary, move it over. It'll be an easy win. Hey, I'm really excited for y'all to meet Brian and Caitlin. I wish you could come up after service and hug their necks and welcome them here. We hope that will happen soon. Brian will be preaching on September the 6th, and so you'll get to see him again there. You can reach out to Brian. He'd love to meet you, have coffee with you. Brian.pell@vintagenc.com is one way you can get up with him. So y'all welcome them. Thanks for your time, and hope to see y'all soon.
Thanks, guys.